Hello, this is Purge, bringing you guys a replay coaching. This is for a 2,400 MMR player. Recently returned to the game after years off. Used to be 4.5k MMR, calibrated in at 3.2, but dropped to 2k while figuring out the new map, items, and heroes. Okay, and you're steadily climbing, and you're currently 2.4. What you'd like to mainly improve upon as carry is laning, farming efficiency, and figuring out when to show up to fights. Okay. So this is a Faceless Void game, quite a fun game with a lot of action. Tried to show up to fights when you thought it made sense. Sure, you could have made better decisions, so you also feed a couple of times, as we all do. All right, let's take a look at the replay. Starting items look great. God, I love 16 times speed. Oh my god, this is a long pause. No typing, no chat wheels, nothing. Against a tiny. That's fine. Sure, no one will be damaged from that, basically. Missed 2 last hits so far. Probably attacking a little bit too much, honestly. It's not super easy against Tiny because he has really high base damage, but I mean, you've got a Quelling Blade advantage, so you should be able to get these last hits. These ones are a little bit hard. Got that one though, which is good. That was fine. See, this is part of the issue, is that you're attacking just a little bit too much in times you don't necessarily need to. This is a good go. Definitely a really good time to try to kill him. Fortunately, you didn't do enough follow-up damage. You didn't get a bash, but it's pretty low chances, but... It's all good. Should have been a pull by now. Should have gotten that last hit. Basically, you can't really die in this lane. Especially when you have a creep advantage like this, because then they can't fight you. We should have denied that for sure. Always deny creeps. It's a huge deal in the laning stage. Especially range creeps. This is great. This is good. Deny that creep. Free last hit you missed. You probably missed like 3 last hits you shouldn't have. Midas is not really bought ever on Faceless Void, because it kind of just... it slows you down a little bit. I mean, maybe some people buy it, but generally most people don't touch it. Because you can just get Midas or Mask of Madness instead, and that generally is a little bit better. This is solid though. I think maybe you should have gone boots as well as the other thing. That if you have treads, your ability to kill in the lane is just a lot higher, frankly. Whereas if you have no boots and you rush for Midas now, then it makes your laning stage less effective. And because you had an advantage here against 2 melee heroes, I feel like you've given up a lot by not having boots here. Because now your chances to get bashes are lower because you're not going to get as many in a chase down. This is fine considering that lane is pushing in. But basically the lane is like stupidly free. Like that guy's got boots, you don't. So he just runs away from you every single time. So your ability to get any kills in this lane is just like way less. You're at most gonna get like 3 right clicks on somebody. And yeah, you're gonna get Midas faster, but like every time you time walk in, it's like 1 or 2 attacks tops. Lane is so simple for you. See, yeah. Gotta have a tossed. You could have also salved during it, would be another thing. You could have eaten tangos earlier. A couple things you could have done here. But that was a pretty big feat considering how much lane control you have. You guys have like insane lane control. Like they can't even like approach for most of these creep waves, so realistically you should be able to get like a huge amount out of this. And therefore dying is a big mistake. Boy, did he almost die. You are finishing up the Midas, basically. This is a good thing to do in the meantime. This is fine. You maybe could have stayed for the next wave, considering it's up by the tower. It's a little scary, but... I'd maybe skip Wraithband if you're going to go Midas, personally. Like, basically what Wraithband gives you is armor, and a little bit of damage and a little bit of attack speed. But a lot of carries aren't even buying Wraithbands right now, so I would say this build is slightly out of date. So if you do want to go Midas, that's maybe one way to offset the fact that you're going Midas is by not buying a Wraithband. Like, you could buy, like... You could have finished, like, Magic Wand right away, for example. That would make your stats more efficient. And then get a Gloves of Haste really fast, that way you have attack speed, but then don't necessarily finish the Wraithband. I think that might have been a decent alternative, because again, it's 10 attack speed, 5 damage, and it's like 2.5 armor, and I don't think armor is really that important against these two heroes. If it's a different offlaner, like a Mars or something, and the other support is a heavier right clicker, then maybe it seems fine, but... Oh, that just feels really bad. But like, you hard counter their lane so much by being able to heal everything they do to you, so they're kind of just screwed here. So maybe Wraithband wasn't that needed, for example. Like, they literally can't do anything in this lane. They're just sitting there like, well. Oh well. Oh well, he lived. Unfortunate. If you had boots there, maybe you get him. So you would have gotten into hitting him faster, a little bit faster. This is all fine so far, though. Probably skip time dilation, go more time walk, because you could be using it to jump from camp to camp, for example. Especially because you have a royal jelly, so your mana regen's quite a bit higher than normal. It's basically double what it normally is. Staying in the lane is fine because Void can stand it, because you can always jump away if things get scary. He's still got his kill, which is good. Staying here is fine. I just wish you don't waste a Chronosphere the second time. Actually, both Chronos were technically a waste, right? I think you got Pudge the first time, but... Either way, as long as you're farming well, and you definitely are, then it's not that big of a deal. The right move to do. Probably should have just Midas to melee creep, to be honest. You definitely shouldn't have been TPing for this. This is a huge mistake. You got Chrono, I guess, but at this point you should cancel. Like, you're gonna get here and it's already over. See? Like, it was pretty clear once... Well... Okay, I guess when he's got his ulti, this is fine. Okay, that ended up being alright. If not for Snapfire ulti, I would say huge mistake. You shouldn't... you could stay, I guess, since you're all here. Another mistake by you. Oh, you got your salve ready late. It's really unfortunate that you died here. Well... Unfortunate. Yeah, there's some good items. Oh wait, that's for them. The tower still dies at least, which is okay. You queue up Manta. Manta is not really good. In fact, Manta is just not useful at all this game. I don't know if you're going to commit to buying this, but Manta is like, if they have an Orchid or something, then it might be worth you getting. But generally, Void doesn't buy Manta. You're better off buying like a damage item and then a BKB for Magic Immunity. You playing top, I think, is right. And fine. They have a lot of burst damage. I think the Strength Talent is great. Now you're TPing bottom to fight, but the problem is like, your ability to kill people is really not that high. You should have time dilated already. I mean, it was okay, I guess. You got a kill. Ended up being alright. But I think you're TPing maybe just a little much. Maybe not, because that was Tiny was relatively farmed. But like, rather than buying Yasha, for example, I think I'd rather you just get Mask of Menace. I think it's just better. So it's not worth going in. You're fighting too much. You're trying to fight too much. It's like anytime there's a fight, you're walking over to it. I think you should be farming just a little bit more. You could have stayed top and killed the tier 1 tower, you know? Like, you basically TP'd bottom, you got a tiny kill, and you pressured a couple creep waves, but that was it. Now you're having to run across the map to go adjust, you know? So the reason Mask of Madness is just probably better is because not only does it give you attack speed, it also gives you movement speed. So it's a lot easier for you to catch up to people. Helps you deal more damage during Chronosphere than just Yasha would. Gives you lifesteal, that part too. Is pretty nice because it helps you stay on the map farming. You probably don't need Fated Brooch. I don't know if you had other neutral items. Yeah. It's pretty wasted on you, honestly. I'd rather you have Ironwood Tree. Not that there's a lot of great items, so. But, I'd prefer any of those items instead, I think. That's a great item for you. Going mid is fine. If you push 2 waves, it's better. Because then you spend a lot of time walking over here. This is a good TP. Because you've got Chronosphere. And it looks like you're going to be able to help. Now you need to leave, basically. You should not be staying. So you threw. Alright, ended up being okay. But, like, you weren't going to kill Tiny. He was full HP, you know? This guy looks killable, though. In fact, I think he is dead. This is really dangerous for Tide. So far, this is great. Okay. Scared me a little bit. To be really safe, you probably should have time or wanded before you time walk, but this is great. Really good fight. Now you guys should spread out. You can go mid, for example. This is great. Get back to the creeps. Maybe you should have farmed one camp on the way, but it's probably fine. I think the biggest mistake you made, other than like 1 or 2 TPs and like the 2 deaths that you've had, which were like the mid death, I don't follow you too much, but the bot death that one was bad. But Manta is easily your biggest mistake this game. It's really not a very good damage item. It does not increase your damage by much. So you're kind of gimping yourself being able to do good stuff. I'm really glad you didn't TP because I saw you thinking about it. It would not be good to teleport here. Looks like you're hesitating to courier to shop to save you time, which is good. So now that you have your Manta ready, you do slightly more damage, basically. The stats are fine, but realistically your overall damage is not that incredible, despite your high net worth. Like, see how far ahead you are this game? And all you have is a Manta. You'd be better off to buy, like, I don't know. Ooh, that was a big mistake. Oh man, you messed up really bad. Oh, what a mistake. Once he ulties, you should just disengage. Time walk past the tree line, for example. You gave him so much gold. You gave him so much gold. That was such a big swing. That was a 1k net worth swing between the two of you. You were so far ahead a moment before that. Now you're going Diffuse the Blade because you're probably thinking like, oh, I'm gonna counter the Medusa. But nobody buys Diffusal Blade on Void. The reason is because Diffusal Blade is a moderate damage item, and it provides utility, and then it slows people. And you do not need slow because you have crazy good chase with Time Walk, and because you have Chronosphere. Diffusal is useless when you Chronosphere people, basically, other than the fact that it's kind of good against Medusa because it mana drains her. But for you to build Diffusal, it's just not needed. You have all of this net worth just so what you can use Manta Diffusal on a Medusa. You can just fucking kill her, or you can kill anybody else on her team instead. That would be a better item. So what you should have is, sure, you got Midas, Wraithband. Let's say, oh, that's all the same in Wand. That's all normal. Let's say you buy Mask of Menace, and then you buy a BKB. That's basically it. Then you become Magic Immune when you really want to. Obviously, Pudge can still ult you, and Medusa can still ult you, but if they don't have those ultis active, you can jump on any of these other heroes and just wreck them because your movement speed's going to be really high, you're going to be attacking really fast, and yeah, your armor's a bit low, but you're magic immune, so it doesn't matter. You're going to outdamage them, and therefore you're going to lifesteal more. But instead, you're committing to this weird build where like you don't have magic immunity, and yes, you can Manta off like Searing Chains, which is frankly pretty nice, but that is not, like, you just spent 5,000 gold on this item, and it doesn't give you kill potential, basically. So it's like, what's the point of rushing it so fast, you know? You could have had Mask of Menace, you could have bought MKB, you could have bought like so many other items instead. That would have been more useful. You should play top, by the way, where the tier 1 tower is. It's going to be easier to go for that objective rather than playing bottom. So definitely you should be top. This is a very common thing at this stage in the game, is to take out their tier 1. The fact that you guys took this tower first is crazy. Almost never happens in a real game, unless you're stomping. Mid is usually a big target too, but like, do you see where you're playing? You're playing defensively because it's really easy for them to run down and kill you. But they're just not playing here because they're being weird, and therefore they're crushing everywhere else on the map. And if they crush this area, and this is unsafe to play, then there's nowhere safe for you guys to play. So that's why you should play with your team like on the top side of the map, because it's dangerous down here, so it's forcing you to spend more resources just to do basic things, basically. You should use Manta here and push out the lane, or you can use it to fight, potentially. And then you right-click him. Went pretty good. Almost got Diffusal, but now you can't blink. You guys shouldn't keep pushing. Well, I guess you didn't kill a tier 1, so they might not have Glyph. It's kind of dangerous, though. This is the issue with staying this long for this, is that they know it's coming. They just overstay, basically. Manta style was not very useful there, even though it... Oh, no, you overstayed. You definitely could have jumped again. You messed up. I get why you decided to partially run back in, but look at your time walk. You clicked on Medusa, you had it ready the whole time. I think you realized after because you tried to do it, but there's no reason for you to stay and keep pushing this tower. Like, basically winning a slight fight early in the game and then going on a push tier 2 is almost always wrong, because by the time you get there, people are respawn. So just, like, as soon as you started walking this way, I knew there's something wrong. Like, you shouldn't be there. You should have won the fight. That's great. Maybe kill any waves up to here, but then just ditch. There's no reason to pressure the tier 2 unless your whole team's committing to it or something like that. Pressure up, everybody else goes up here. You can maybe, if you want to be a little bit aggressive, you can go farm this way to here to here to over this way, and then help pressure the tier 1. That would be a slightly dangerous but more beneficial thing. But standing here mid under the tower, they see you, and it's going to give them time to set up against you. See how much more damage this guy does than you? He's got actual damage items. The hell? Why did he run this way? That's bizarre. I'm sure the cookie didn't help, but now they take your tower because you guys all died in kind of silly ways. Now your net worth is equal to Medusa's, even though your laning stage was like infinitely better than hers. Once again, you're buying silly items, so it's also not helping you. Generally, you don't want to use... I mean, this is okay, but usually Manta is used to push out lanes away from where you're standing, not just like in front of you kind of thing. I mean, you just gave him 2 more last hits effectively, you know? Alright, so you got Diffusal Blade now, so now your damage is higher. So this is 30 damage. That's not true. 36 damage. Whoa. When did this happen? I was looking at Diffusal Blade. Oh, this is bad. This would be a good time to use Manta, by the way. If you have BKB there, you just BKB and it's not a big deal. But you end up getting bursted. Now Dusa dies. Now Tide dies. Okay. I mean, you've been dead for the last 10 minutes effectively. That's what it feels like. Like, you basically rush into this item that just helps you get more ahead. And then you rush into an item that doesn't actually do anything. Like, this is like the crappiest way to do Midas, basically. It's to rush an item that makes you weaker until later into an item that doesn't do anything. So you basically just took all this net worth, but you can't do it for, you can't use it for anything. You couldn't use it to get kills. All it really does is like slightly reduce your chances of dying and slightly increases your farm speed. Like, this is a good time to use Manta. If you don't feel comfortable hitting this wave, use Manta, go send your illusions down. Well, that's the other thing. Void illusions aren't even that incredible anyways. You guys should be dead. Oh, maybe not. It's pretty tanky. Now you're all pushing mid with 5. There's still a tier 1 tower up here. You guys should be playing top, not mid. This is like a really obvious thing to do at almost all stages. Take the tier 1 mid or the top or the safe lane tier 1. Those are the first 2 towers that are easy to take. And the first way to do it is just by pushing out your top lane. You should be running top right now to push this creep wave. Like, there's no reason for you guys to have 4 heroes mid. As soon as there's like 3 heroes mid like this, it's a waste for you all to be here. Because all 3 of you guys are going to split 1 creep wave, which is a waste of time. It's better for one of you to take this creep wave safely, one of you to take this wave, and one of you to take this camp. That way you're getting like 3 sources of income. Or one of you runs top when you realize there's 3 mid, ideally you. Then you push this out all the way to the tower, and the rest of your team comes into the jungle over here, and they sit ready to dive under the tower when the enemies respond. That's what should be happening. See the same shit. Midas into a Hurricane Pike, just so what, he can slightly protect himself. It's kind of crappy. You should be rushing towards the next wave, not running to Secret Shop. I guess you sold Wand before Wraithband. That's a huge mistake. Wand is way better than Wraithband. Wand gives you 3 attack speed, 3 damage. This gives you 10 attack speed, 5 damage. And it can heal you for 600 HP. There's no way selling Wand is right. But you ran back to the wave, which is good. You should be staying. Let's look at it from your perspective. We can see a lot of heroes mid, for example. If you wanted to show up to this fight, you should just TP and approach. Looks like a very good fight for your team, though. Dusa very killable with mana drain. Cool, you guys won a massive fight, so now you push mid, which is perfect. Just gotta wait for the creep wave. Now you're going BKB, which is good considering the magic damage and burst stuff. Should have probably time walked that damage, but it's okay. Your talents look fine. You guys should take their outpost maybe, or you could roach, that works too. One of you guys should have a ward or a sentry up here. It's kind of dangerous. This is fine. You maybe should have chased, I think. Orbit Destruction is really good on you. Paladin Sword's really good too, though. Orb would give you slow is the main reason why it's pretty effective. Really help you chase people down when you're not chronoing them. There's no reason for 3 heroes to be here pushing. These 2 guys could be over here. You're kind of lollygagging a little bit, but you don't have chrono. Probably not worth defending Tide. Take tower. Witchshark doesn't need to be here anymore. He could be pushing a side camp or walking through the jungle to ward and deward. You guys pushing tier 2 after tier 1 is almost always a mistake, because when you kill tier 1, they're going to get glyphed, and they're just going to glyph this wave, and the whole thing's going to die. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. If they weren't busy, they would glyph this and everything would die. Therefore, it'd be a waste for you to be there, so it's fine that you did this instead. Now your team is fighting. That was a bit of a gamble, but it works out. Pretty easy kill, except for the fact that she was insanely tanky, but it's good. Now you guys can go push mid, because they're dead for a pretty long time. This is good. Tiny buys back, they pop Glyph. You guys could probably back up, to be honest, like... They messed up, but you have Aegis, so maybe this won't matter. He messed up his Avatos, the Cask was super good. Diffusal Blade, good. Oh, you overchased big time. You should have backed after that kill for sure. So at that point you were like half HP and all the shit was used, so now you're gonna run back to hit towers. Hopefully Ty doesn't die. He doesn't, so this isn't terrible. Using Manta just to hit buildings is pretty garbage. Manta illusions don't do very much damage to towers. I got nerfed a couple of years ago. Maybe you don't realize, but this fight probably shouldn't happen. You guys should probably run away. I don't know why you didn't jump in on Leshrac. That was weird. Alright, she ends up dying. You should have used your Midas. I think that was his, wasn't it? Oh, okay. Alright, so it kind of worked out, though. Guess you guys had Ravage. This was kind of crazy, huh? Someone's gonna get killed by Tiny here. Oh, never mind. Good BKB. Probably should have jumped in front of him, but it's okay. Now you're forcing things, everyone's pretty low. You should probably back. Should have saved that for Syrian Chains, not just use it. Like, you use it and they kill the illusions right away anyways. You should be jumping away constantly. That's not worth staying. Like, you could be off fighting, you know? You don't need to try to, like, end the game right now. You're basically trying to force things at half HP, which is it's just not very safe. You should have been sprinting straight to the top lane. Is where you should have been. Not jungling defensively while you have dead heroes. Buying Butterfly, which is pretty good. I'm alright with it. It'll give you a lot of attack speed, which you desperately need. Either Butterfly or MKB, both are really solid. Weird. That's kind of funny. Pushing the wave is great. So I'd say the only stuff that's kind of weird so far is you're not really feeling the flow of fights sometimes. You're kind of just going back in times where it's a little bit less than ideal, basically. That's how I would describe it. You could have jumped in instead of walking in. And I would have probably maybe jumped aggressively here, to be honest. Just chrono the whole thing. Yep, that's the right thing to do. Because of the ulti. And then next. I just feel like you got almost no use out of Manta style, honestly. This could have just been a Mask of Menace and it would have been about the same, in my opinion. But 3,000 gold less. Like, maybe you buy Diffusal Blade with Mask of Menace. That'd be kind of cool, maybe, with against the Dusa, but like, the Manta only gives you 38 attack speed for 5,000 gold. It's pretty expensive. Doesn't really give you that much. And then you win. Cool. So that's the first one. Yeah, you just need to, like, learn team fight strength, kind of, knowing when it's the right time to go in and out, because it was a couple moments that didn't seem very safe to me. And if you're playing against better players, they're going to crush you in some of those moments where you go back in at half HP. Alright, replay number 2. This is a 5 stack where everyone's a couple thousand MMR higher than you. Okay. Alright, let's see. FMSS, yeah, okay. Items look fine. PA is a pretty weak laner, so if you have any issues, I wouldn't be surprised if it's related to laning. I don't like looking at people like this. Then they know that you're here, and they're gonna adjust whether they go in based on who they're up against. Pretty unnecessary harass, but whatever, I guess you have the mana. That one's fine though, because he was tanking creep waves at the time. I wish Warlock would have used the heal on Snapfire rather than you, because your HP's full, so it's kind of just a waste. You're walking a little bit too far away from the creep wave here, at times. I see that you're trying to pull the creep wave, which is good. I don't even do that shit. That was good. This is a good dagger. Keep pressuring her. They don't have sticks, do they? No, they don't. Okay. Good on the denies. We got a side pull going. This is perfect. Yep. Ooh. Okay, great. Alright, not often that you get first blood as a PA. That's for sure in the lane. Buying a Wraithband looks fine. Wraithband 1 looks good. Definitely not easy to get a last hit. It does a little bit more, I guess. It's a little bit better than your base damage. Good job pulling the creep so far. This is great. I really need to start doing this. That's all I'm thinking about right now. Got a full wand, which is fine. I don't think I'd be worried about getting... I think you're being a little too scared now. And you've kind of been like this the whole laning stage. But look how much regen you have. And you're scared to like approach one creep. It's like you feel like if you can't pull the creep wave, then you don't feel comfortable getting last hits at all. Which shouldn't be the case. Same thing, see? Like, you're only feeling comfortable throwing Stifling Dagger to get last hits that are far away. You're running over... I don't know, this guy's probably dead. I would have just stayed in lane. That was a mistake. That's like one of those moments where you need to read the fight and realize like, oh, I'm not actually relevant right now. Because he's in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the offlaner and the 4 position. And therefore he is going to die, and I'd be better to get like 1 or 2 last hits in that moment. If it's somebody other than a Warlock, maybe it's possible, then it's more... then you're more able to do it, but... Wish you got the last hit, but it's okay. You could side pull. Oh no, he's pulling already. Okay. Good. Last hit wise, you are a little bit behind, but still doing semi-okay. That was a hard one. You had to prep that one, I think. But as a whole, you're last hitting pretty well. I'm surprised your numbers aren't higher, I guess. But maybe you've chased a little bit too much. I would have gone for that, actually. I would have waited for Cookie and then jumped afterwards. I think you could have gotten that kill. This would be a good time to pressure NS, by the way. You've got 2 heroes here. You can right-click him while the Snapfire is coming back. Even if it's just a moment. Like right here, fight him back. I won't necessarily use Dagger. You've definitely used Dagger a little bit too much on heroes for enemy damage, but... because now your mana is a lot more strained, is the main thing. Trying there was fine, reasonable. Ooh, that was unfortunate you didn't get that last hit. Maybe Warlock did, though. want me to open the door? Sorry, I gotta let my dog outside the door. Go inspect. And re-blanket. You're still playing too scared, for sure. Against a Night Stalker, it is a little bit scary, but like they have barely touched you. They should have by now, but I feel like if you played a little bit more greedy, especially when you have this much regen sitting, that you would be getting more out of the lane. It's one of the reasons why I wanted Warlock to cast spells more aggressively rather than to heal you, because you've got all this regen to cover yourself, basically. Going Battle Fury. Don't know if most people go treads first. Did you buy treads already? I'm not sure. Guessing this is your career. Oh no, you went Ring of Health. Okay, cool. I was gonna say I think that's what people do when. Although I think the build right now is to go Deso first because Battle Fury is a little bit too slow. Is the general thought. I believe. I might be wrong though. Now you have a stupid abundance of regen, way more than you could ever need. God, Ring of Health is so much regen. No wonder the Battle Fury build-up feels so good on some heroes. The perfect item. You shouldn't be going on Night Stalker, you should be going on Snapfire. Dagger him. There you go. Like, it's just so much harder to kill him. Okay. It all works out. I went to Salve there. I think that was a waste. You could use a Tango instead. And Tango plus Ring of Health would have put you at full, basically. Your camera positioning is kind of weak here. You could be positioning closer to where they're going to be in most cases. So the item you buy now is kind of dependent on how much mana you want, but you could maybe shift to jungling, to be honest, but you're also probably fine to be in lane. Tread switching is great. But at some point, it's not safe for you to stay in the safe lane. I think this is a really good time for you to leave. Oh wow. Eat a Tango. You should have eaten this Tango already. You got a standard tower for sure. So I think in this circumstance you actually had to go for Night Stalker because he was the one that was tanking. And he's got a lot of armor, so this is the issue. You basically have to try to kill him first. Going for the Grimstroke wasn't a bad idea if you weren't so low right at the start of the fight. But considering what was happening, looks like you ended up buying treads. Did you have treads already? Oh, you did. That's right. I forgot you already had it. You brought a broadsword, but you forgot to put on your hero, unfortunately. And now you're going top. This is what you should have done before, either jungling or rotating top, because it was getting to the point of the game. Like basically the, basically the 10-minute mark, 10 to like 12-minute mark. It's almost always really dangerous for your carry, and sometimes they even go jungle a little bit earlier than that, like 2 minutes earlier or something like that. Blur there is fine. You should be farming this camp or over here. And your allies should be playing around you. The fact that you guys lost your safe lane tower is really bizarre. I don't think you should... I guess you can TP to this, but it's kind of dangerous. It's kind of weird for you to TP to this. Like, there's a lot of... Basically, there's been fights that look like actually okay for your team, but realistically, they shouldn't be good for you guys. Like, fighting in this area as Radiant is really dangerous, but with vision like that and seeing a Grimstroke, I guess it was okay. But now the issue is you're on the bot lane, and this is once again the dangerous lane, so now you're going to have to retreat soon anyways. So you kind of, like, retreated back into the wrong lane just because of the lane pressure, you know? Because of the wanting to participate in that team fight, like put you in the wrong place. Pressuring this tower is not as bad as playing down here. As long as the creep wave is up here, you have better vision, because if we look at that lane, if your creep wave is up here, the only way they can get to you is by like running this way or TPing here and then running straight at you, which is unlikely to work. But if the creep wave is down here, it's really easy for them to TP in, get around behind you, and then attack you from behind. Higher chance that you die. So if the wave is pushed up, this is okay what you're doing. I have a feeling you're going to TP to this fight because you're trying to be the good carry. And here it is again. Should kill Avenge right now. Oh, you canceled. Okay. Well, I thought you were going to go for it. I don't think it's a big deal, though. Now it's kind of looking appealing to me, but... Also, finishing Battle Fury is really important too, so it's not terrible that you're committing to this. Like, basically, if you're just farming as fast as possible, this is almost always just as good as showing up to a fight. Switch back to Agility Treads after Tread switching. I know you did this for mana, but you should go back to Agi afterwards. You shouldn't be down here, probably. You should be farming away from this, because pressuring this tower is not likely to be valuable. It's better for you instead to go left, or for you to, yeah, basically go left and then head your way top. But why are you coming to this lane? Jug or Bounty Hunter's already here, you know? Unless he, like, asks you to push or something, but even if that's the case, it's not really that great for you to push and fight here. And here comes the gank. And now you will die. And now you are dead. Just not safe to fight here. That's that's the exact reason why. Just not safe. Was it already nighttime? No, I think you used that earlier. But now, not only, God, they killed all 5 of you guys. So this is what keeps happening in this game at least, is like they're forcing you, they're basically showing places and they're fighting in locations that are less likely to be good fights for you guys, and they're beating you. They also don't have any hard carries, I guess, so this is the other thing that, like, with time, you guys are just going to beat them anyway, so realistically, if you guys just play more carefully, you probably beat them anyways. But you guys are showing up to fights and you're losing these fights a little bit. What is this? Poor man's shield, though. Would have been nice earlier. Now you should play top. This is the correct thing to do. You should stay top. This is really safe. Like, if somebody wants to gank you top, they have to teleport here after 6 seconds and then run over and gank you. This is safe. Here, a little bit more dangerous. Here, dangerous. Because they have 2 TP points and it's easier for them to get behind you. But this one's super safe. This is like very far from everywhere else on the map that kind of matters, you know? Like, they're not likely to be going to be like, oh, let's go push top and get a gank off. Better players will, yes, but most players at this MMR, they're just going to see people on the map and they're just going to run at them. So yeah, maybe they see you top and you push one more wave, but then you like juke into the trees and you TP like down here. Or maybe you just hide in the trees for like 30 seconds and the next wave shows and nobody shows up, and then you can maybe go jungle or something. But like, if you really want to be safe. But yeah, you ended up coming back top after I explained all of this, which is good. And then now you're hiding in the trees. Normally I'd say go farm this, but it looks like it's not there. See, look, we just saw an Invoker. Well, oh, he's ghost walked. Okay. Well, he might actually find you. We'll see. Wow, that was really close. He actually almost killed you there. How close was that? So they actually did the right thing looking for you. Wow. He almost got you. So you did it right, basically. Now you guys are all playing bottom, which is kind of okay, but kind of weird. Ends up going really good though, because you guys are all here and they're a little bit spread out from trying for the ganks. Now they cancel. Now you guys get a tower. There's that glyph after pushing tier 1 that I talked about last game. You guys are going to force it anyways, which honestly is probably fine, considering that you killed them right in front of their tier 1. It's a little bit easier. You probably could have hit that more, I think, but you'll get more farm by spreading out. TPing top is great. I just wish you did it like 10 seconds earlier, but you'll figure that out next time. Switching to Agi, perfect. Pushing this is great. Yep, jungle is great. Jungle here, then you're going to go back to here. I wouldn't... I guess there's gank opportunities here. This is, yeah, I'm glad you didn't jump on that one. That looked really dangerous. I would have probably done the large camp before retreating. Fortunately, they cleared your whole camp out, so now you're just running a fight, which isn't good because you're this close to Black King Bar. You are very dead now. You should have blinked to one of your allies as soon as the silence ran out. But more importantly, you should have, rather than grouping to fight with your team, this is like another case where like you're just simply trying to fight too much. Like you have a lot of net worth, but your net worth doesn't translate very well to fighting right now. It's okay, but against like a big team fight, it's pretty easy for them just to focus you with magic damage. So that's why you died here. If you just go and like farm a little bit more and are a little bit more greedy, you would have had BKB in this fight, and then the whole fight wouldn't have been a big deal, right? You would have jumped on the Snapfire. You would have maybe gone on the Grimstroke. Night Stalker comes in and you just like BKB, and as soon as like the Snapfire ulti comes out, you just BKB and fight. Would have been the better thing to do. But instead now we're pretty delayed on Battle Fury. I would do large camp. You can do large camp here. Also, you probably shouldn't use blur as you started the wave. You should have killed a couple waves, then used blur, then done the camp. Then it would have been easier to feel. Then you would have been in the dangerous area, you know? But you used it in the safe area here, where you were less likely to be ganked. You should have used Iron Talon on the Ancient. What was this? Oh, the illusion, so you guys got scared. Alright, so there's your BKB. Now you guys are smoking again because you have BKB, which is kind of okay. I just wish it would have been faster. And if you guys get track kills, it's really good. This is kind of a dangerous time to smoke, because this is basically hard to find people. Because you didn't have the wave super pushed out. You had them like a little pushed out, but not like massively. Ooh, now you're spotted. Now you BKB. Perfect. You should have gone on Venge right away. You need to throw your spells though. I know you can't Blink Strike, but you daggered really late there too, unfortunately. You guys got one track kill and that's it, so unfortunately you guys are going to have to stop now. Ooh, and you lost Night Stalker. Not good. Yeah. Like, you guys you're just fighting too much, honestly. You've been in so many fights. You've been in almost every fight this game. But if you just farmed a little bit more, you would have gotten your items and made like a couple less small mistakes. You would have gotten your items so much faster. And then like this BKB fight would have been like 3 fights ago or 2 fights ago. And then you'd have like Blightstone, and then you'd have Deso, and then it'd be completely different. I think you should have Lifesteal too, actually. I don't know what the win rate is for this talent. We can check though. But I can't imagine that it's better. Because like Blink cast range is already so far. It's 1,000 range. Do you really need it to be 1,300? Like the only way that that talent is good, in my opinion, is for blinking back to allies, maybe. So let's see what the trend is. And they're about equal. But I can't help but think that Lifesteal isn't just better. Because like if you have BKB and like half of a Deso right now, and you have Lifesteal, you can like fight any of these heroes to the death, especially Night Stalker. It'd be a lot easier to engage with them. But you're behind, so it's hard to engage with them. But if you're more ahead, then it's like, then you're really far ahead having Lifesteal like that. Blur talent is actually pretty good this game, in my opinion. Because none of them are going to buy MKBs, basically. What's Night Stalker have? It's pretty farmed, actually. But keep in mind that you laned against this guy and you fed him a little bit of gold. But mostly he's just ahead because he's been team fighting better. That's basically it. Wait, how did you run down here? I gotta see this. There's where you died. Let's see where you walk when you respawn. Running bottom, Zeus is already there. You should run top. Is where you should be, probably. Pango might handle it, so you go mid though. Okay, this is a good choice. Now you're kind of farming bottom. Zeus already cleared up your jungle though. Cleared one camp here. Should do large camp on the way back. You're not. I don't know why you're being so careful here. We see a bunch of heroes on the map, you know? You should have done this already and then been moving left instantly. Should do... Oh, that's empty. So go here. Okay. And go here. Should be clearing this. I don't know. I think you're being a little bit too inefficient. And I think your team's smoking or some shit and you're trying to be here. I don't know. You could have done this camp and gotten here in time. Like, you don't need to be here for the bounty run. You could have done the ancients. Now you're standing around again, waiting to smoke. Like, you're just forcing... You're participating in literally every smoke. You don't have to be in every single smoke, you know? Like, your battle strength hasn't really increased much at all yet in this game. Your BKB was so unnecessary here. You're smoking into them. They don't know you're coming, and you guys have the drop on them. And you should always start fights with dagger first, probably. But yeah, wasted BKB. And this is part of the issue to doing smokes like this, is like, sometimes you're just going to get one guy, and it's not going to be worth 5 heroes times. This is why it would have been a good, like, 3-man smoke, you know? There's a good chance that they run into that same thing, they kill Venge without you, and you're hitting creeps in the meantime, and you've increased your net worth by like 600 gold. But instead you show up to a fight, you flip a coin whether it goes well, it went slightly well, ends up being probably less effective than it could have been for your team. Now you're trying to like force a tower kill, but you've only got 1 hero dead, so it's not really worth it for you guys to be pressuring. Like, you don't even have BKB, so why are you pressuring? That should be like, Venge dies, everybody spreads out and farms again, but you're not doing that often enough. The whole spread out and farm thing. You could have TP'd bottom, started pushing this out faster, for example. But you're just doing everything really slow right now, in terms of like where you're walking. Like, it's taking you... We had Battle Fury at like, what, 18 minutes or something? It took you like 7 minutes to get a BKB, and now it's taking you like another 8 minutes to get Deso. That's way too slow, considering how fast you can farm with Battle Fury. You could probably blur farm this camp, even though I know Invoker was over there. Maybe it's a little dangerous, but you've got BKB, so it should be fine. But part of the issue is definitely that like everybody in your team is trying to hit creeps. This is really dangerous and unnecessary. Like, that's a 5-position hero and you're committing BKB for it. Well, oh, that's a carry. I'm sorry. Alright, maybe it's a little bit better then. Now things are bad. Once again, you kind of BKB'd at the wrong time. Him going MKB means you don't want to get Blur Talon, of course. Now everyone else is going to get cleaned up. Never mind. Big kill for the bounty. Why didn't he just go invisible? That was scary. What's up? Still trying to get your Deso finished, but again, you're just fighting way too often. You shouldn't be playing PA like this. If you're playing like a carry that fights more, then it's fine to do what you've been doing. But like, you went Battle Fury, you should almost always defer to hitting creeps. But basically, like, the problem with you being in the same phase as your allies genuinely is that like your guys are always butting heads and stepping on each other's toes. There's like these periods of time for like 5 minutes when everyone on your team is hitting creeps. And in those moments, you can't hit creeps super efficiently because they're partially taking some of your neutral camps and stuff like that. And then the times when they go gank, you're always going with them. So then nobody's hitting creeps during these periods. And then when there's team fights, you're also there. So it's like you're literally always doing what your allies are doing. You're just getting some farm in the meantime. That's why you're not getting enough farm this game. And that's the only reason you didn't win this match. Because if you had... Well, you're also mis-executing your BKBs a little bit. But other than that, like, you're playing the game fine. You're looking at the TP here. You should show up to this fight because everybody else is there. This is a good example of a decent looking fight where you could TP. You are so late to TP. I don't know why you're waiting. Alright, now it's too late. Now you should cancel. Okay, good. Hit the tower. Worst case, you can always BKB TP. You got Deso now. It's -9 armor. I definitely think you could have taken that tier 2 tower. You playing bottom is a mistake because they're all going to be there. That's why it's better for you to pressure here, because then if some come, it slows down this tower dying, for example. I know, I guess it's scary because you wasted your TP, but you should definitely play top. See, because someone, if you and Pango are here, it's a lot easier for you guys to kill somebody. Great job. BKB was fine there. Honestly, I would kill the Venge Illusion personally. You still maybe BKB'd a little bit early though. You could have waited a second. Yeah, kill this Illusion because it's a carry, so it does a lot of damage. Hitting backlane like this is not safe without BKB. It's definitely time to leave. Farming towards bottom looks fine. Basher over, you're doing it again. Always wand over Wraithband or Bracer or whatever else. It's always better.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You didn't necessarily have to do that. You could have maybe blurred and gone left, but... What neutral items do you guys have? You should have taken Mindbreaker over Titan Sliver, I think. This is like 28 damage. Oh, there you go. There's your new item. But I think Mindbreaker's better. $25 damage, 25 attack speed. Yeah, I guess you can't crit on it, but... Anyways, yeah, Leveler's definitely better. I wonder if might be better to go like rather than finish all of Abyssal Blade. And like Abyssal Blade's pretty good for sure because it has a guaranteed stun, but I feel like you have so much attack speed and a relatively good amount of damage. It's better for you to go more damage than more utility because like PA basically has a lot of utility already. Maybe that's crazy. I just feel like some of them are relatively tanky, you know. Grimstroke has this other thing, Ghost Scepter, Force Staff, Glimmer Cape, Force Staff. Like, they all have a decent amount of armor. Especially Venge. Night Stalker's hard to kill. I'd almost rather you get more stuff to kill the supports. I guess Deso, or I guess Abyssal kind of does that too, though. Gives you more raw HP against magic. That part's kind of good out of the start. Oh, this is where you realize that they were on top of you. So it's great. You forgot to dagger, unfortunately. You stayed on that a little too long, too. Oh, you're at 25. You should have been daggering here. You're definitely daggering too little in mid and late game. Spread out and farm or take Roche, probably. You didn't really need to smoke to do this, but it's fine. They're likely not going to be here anyways. You guys should be hitting towers. Alright, you're messing this up bad. You just got Aegis, they have a dead hero, and you're spreading across the map to farm. This is the maybe one of the bigger like team mistakes you've made. Easy kill. I would have BKB'd here. Because otherwise you guarantee your death. Like, that's the only time they're going to be strong, you know? BKB was wasted. You don't need to use it there. Good target change. Should be hitting this if possible. Ooh, 4 hits. Yeah, his illusion is killing you. Oh, he's got butterfly too. Well, that went a lot worse than it needed to. Again, you guys should have fought mid. Mid tier 2 is where you guys should have fought. There was a pink, I think Invoker walked up. Maybe he was invisible at the time, but that's where you guys should have fought instead. Fighting down here is kind of hard on Radiant side. You're stuck in this little corridor. There's not a lot of retreat paths. Whereas if you're fighting here, you guys can like wrap. You can retreat this way. You can retreat this way, this way, this way. There's so much more mobility for you guys. But yeah, you should have BKB'd probably the Grimstroke and Snapfire ultis, because then you wouldn't have died at that, and then you would have had at least like full HP, or you would have had full HP and an Aegis to fight against the other stuff. And your net worth hasn't been more far ahead just because you're making like mistakes in team fight stuff. Really wish you did have lifesteal too. Oh, you're in here. You buy back? Nope, looks like you were just alive. I'm surprised you hadn't made a decision yet. Okay. So you BKB'd way early. You also were in cast range already. Here's your cast range. Then you BKB'd. Then you eventually went on the Invoker. You should have Blink Striked and instantly Abyssaled him, probably. Now the issue is that you're just dying to magic damage afterwards. This was good. Healing here is good. Again, if you have lifesteal, it's going to feel a lot... Like, this game feels like actually worthless once your BKB ends. And part of that is because they can burst you with a lot of magic damage, and then you have no HP and you have to run. But if you have lifesteal, you can just keep fighting. Because if you do 1,000 damage, you heal for 120 HP. It would genuinely make a big difference in how it feels to fight these fights for you. This would be a decent time to like blur and look for kills over here in my opinion, but this works too. That's fine. It's only a 5-second BKB. Pushing top. I would have done large camp first. You walked right past it, you might as well kill it. I would have killed one more wave. And then left. Q and MKB for the butterfly, which is good. Another wave. Save and buyback, which is good. Sell this, get probably Demon Edge. Good. Kind of farming with your team a lot. You don't necessarily all have to stand together. It is a little safer though.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under eager to know Dire's whereabouts.
I wish you weren't standing so far behind your teammates too, because you're the guy with the magic immunity that can like jump and kill somebody if you catch them. I feel like you could be a little bit more in danger for the good of your team. And here comes the fight. You need to up your screen, your edge pan. Look how long it takes for you to react to this. Why aren't you running into this? I don't understand. Why did it take so much time for you to feel comfortable in running in? Good kill here. Why'd you BKB there? Like, they don't have that many chain stuns. You should save the BKB until, like, you get hit by a Grimstroke ulti or something like that. Oh, you're dead now. Again, no lifesteal. Same thing. If you have lifesteal, you get a lot more health out of this trade. You should blur here as you approach. Again, you should blur or definitely up your speed. You can drop an item. Oh, you just let Invoker get it. Unfortunate. They're all well. This is good. Okay, well they fucked up. Unfortunately though, you probably die here. If only you had lifesteal. Also, this guy still does a lot of damage. His damage items are very strong. Okay, but that frankly wasn't that bad. You got Rax, you dieback killed, I think Venge as well, right? Yeah, that was the dieback here. Unfortunately, he's still alive though. This is looking very good. I don't know how you guys lose this. Satanic, huh? Now you're like, now you want the lifesteal. Okay. Honestly, I wonder if it'd be better to get Ags over Satanic. I guess you don't have the money for it, but you just need any vision, and then you can jump on somebody. Your camera positioning here, yeah, this is basically what it should be. You should right-click the tower, and then you should be looking for a jump. The hell was that? You just want golems to hit tower, I guess? This is really weird. Yeah, this is where your camera should be, basically. You should jump this guy, in my opinion, with Aegis. Well, they still have dead Grimstroke. Now they're all alive when you fight them. Like, you guys wasted... Golems should be used, not really to hit buildings. Should be used to, like, teamfight disrupt for a second. It's actually a really big deal. Anyways, now you guys are back into farming patterns, so things are going to get slow again. But you should have taken that opportunity to start a fight when they didn't have all their heroes, in my opinion. Because pushing out waves is not really how you guys win the game. Killing the tower is good. Really don't like the Satanic with this many items. I mean, you do need the lifesteal, I guess, but I guess more status resistance would be good too, considering you have 0. Should probably be blurred. Honestly, you could be looking at these heroes as well. You haven't looked at them a single time. You don't know if they have HP or not, you know? Your BKB is going to be late. Should have blinked faster. That was a little dangerous. You can kill that guy. Fortunately, you have no lifesteal, so you die again. Looks like not much is going to happen though, so this wasn't all bad. Really wish you had lifesteal. Is he 30 yet? My stalker is. With some really good talents, I gotta say. 60-second cooldown is so good. Once you get 30, you probably... Oh, there's no more cleave talent, I forgot. I was gonna say, sell your Battle Fury. Woodland Striders, huh? Oh. Sell treads then. Alright, I can get behind this actually. I don't know what else you have, but let me see. Yeah, honestly, of these three, it's definitely the better one. Sell treads, go Satanic. What is this? Oh, it's a mistake. I mean, leveler generally probably better. 60 attack speed's insane, actually. But, alright, now you get Pirate Hat. Never mind. Pirate Hat it is. You can still sell treads. Get Pirate Hat, sell treads. Get Satanic. It's probably overall better teamfight capabilities. That should have been a kill, I think. You gotta kill Venge in this moment. Maybe it's hard when they use ulti like that. I mean, he knows where you are. No Basher, though. Okay, so you got the hat. You traded your 60 attack speed item for your 150 attack speed item, which is kind of funny. You got Fallen Sky. I mean, I guess that's good. Stop. I know. Why? But why? So many BKBs. Now they're gonna force you basically kind of have to fight, honestly. That was great. Really good engagement. I don't know how you guys lose this game now. The game looks over. Game genuinely looks over. They're gonna buy back. What a resounding team fight. Roche is not up. You guys should be taking like megas basically. Now they are all alive, which is kind of weird. Well, this is a really good ulti by Grimstroke. You should be fighting probably. Now you are going to die, but you do have buyback. But not everybody will have buyback. Well, you got Invoker at least. You should buy back right away, in my opinion. Because they are going to push. Like, waiting doesn't accomplish anything, you know? Honestly, I kind of think you should go in when... Oh, Grimstroke has his ulti again. Never mind. Why are you BKBing again? What happened? It's like the smallest hint of a team fight and you press it. You pressed it there. Some of you probably scream go. Like, there's only so much time. You have to stretch this out a little bit. Once again, you should have really gone in here. The exact moment that you definitely should have committed was... Here it looks a little bit hairy. This moment. If there's one of these down, like, they're going to have to run through it and deal with it. With Bounty over here as well, like, he's going to be ready to chase. So the fact that you still backed, like, this fight looks so won. They're all so low, and you're sitting here half HP, like, scared to go in, you know? Alright, this is where you guys got to push out. They have a Dead Night Stalker for 100. Taking Roche is a good idea. Refresher Shard. There's your Satanic. Very good. Now you should go bot racks. Oh, what happened? Some people ran through middle, it looks like. And you guys weren't together. Invoker's also backdooring. You need to go in. You're way overdue. Like, so much shit has happened and you haven't gone in yet. Like, ideally you go in right now, you know? But instead you jump on creeps? What's the point of this? What is this? You gotta get in there. There's double golems. Now you're hitting buildings. Now they get a glyph, unfortunately for you. Camera positioning kind of sucks here, but... guys wasted so many big cooldowns is the issue. Now you're probably dead here. Yep. Like, the golems were kind of crappy, but you also didn't go in the same time. Like, basically, this game was kind of lost here because some of you guys ran through the middle and you ran outside wide because you were kind of scared. If you guys all stay on either outside or all inside, then it's fine. Because as soon as that guy gets swapped, you just go in. Because they didn't have all their people alive and all of your team was there. So all you do is go in at the same time. But because you were wide and then you blinked to creeps, you missed like 2 seconds where you could be attacking for free with nothing stopping anything. And yeah, maybe they have like Aeon Disc and crap like that, but that's part of the reason you should get Nullifier, maybe. Why you should have gotten Nullifier instead. Because then when you jump on these supports, they die every time. Because then you just get to nullify them. Continuous dispels for 5 seconds. This doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything. This means nothing. This means nothing. All you can do is mech himself. So if you get Nullifier, you just like crush the supports and makes your whole team fight a lot easier. Because yeah, killing Nightstalker is a little tough. Killing Venge is semi-easy for you. And killing Invoker is like slightly hard. But if you just get like Nullifier hypothetically, it just gets a lot easier. Now you've got Satanic, but like the time where it was really relevant was a long time ago. Satanic's really good when there's less utility items, and it's more just like you using your overwhelming net worth advantage against theirs, but you lifesteal, so your ability to fight them to the death is just so much higher than vice versa. But that's kind of all gone. What items did they get? Hey. No, right now. It's the Force Boots I know he's using. Okay. Interesting. Who's got the Trident? Tango, shut up. Venge has Trident? Okay. I feel like this is a better... Well, I mean the attack speed and stuff, the S and Y aspects I guess is good. It's also 30% status resistance. Now they're just going to go mid on you guys because you have a bunch of dead heroes. This has been quite good, I gotta say. Slap, 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 slap. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful for you to understand why things didn't go so well. Generally, fighting a lot when it was probably not the right time to show up just to get like 1 kill. And not farming enough. Showing up to every single fight, going on every single smoke gank. When if you buy a farming item, you just gotta sit and farm a little bit more. Your Void game was, it's better to fight a little bit more on Void because of Chronosphere, but on a hero like PA who you're just raw damage, like Battle Fury alone is really not very much DPS with treads. And then usually because you go Battle Fury, you usually have to go BKB first, which ends up being a little bit slow. That's why sometimes like playing the way you did with Deso, it just makes a lot more sense. Because then when you do show up to those early fights, you just crush people. So if you go Battle Fury, play slower, buy yourself more time to collect items. And then it gets a lot easier to play the game. And again, if you're a lifesteal talent and maybe like a faster Satanic, then you're basically unkillable in those mid-game scenarios. That's not exactly true, because things like Grimstroke ulti are really costly against you, because then you can't Blink Strike around as much as you want, which partially protects you because you're getting kills. But anyways, hopefully that helped, and thanks for signing up. Goodbye.